What's up, guys? So this video I wanted to tell you guys about this one inmate that I came across in a county jail. He had been down in prison before, but I never saw him in prison, who everybody pretty much was afraid of. This guy's reputation was one of fucking hurting people, and he happened to have been a professional boxer at some point. So this guy was a street person, fucked up hard on drugs, but was able to fight his ass off and actually had some significant fights, so televised fights. He was never in the unit. I don't want to give the guy's name, because I'm not cool like that with him that I'm gonna drop his name on the video. But he wasn't in the unit I was in. I saw him moving sometimes through this county jail, and I was fucking shocked because this is the only time I've ever seen an inmate move like this. This guy would fucking walk out of a unit and walk down a hallway and walk into the ODR, to the officer's dining room, make himself a fucking plate and walk out right in front of all these cops. Like fucking crazy. And they didn't say shit to him. He would do this shit all the time, almost every day. And that's just one example. Within the units, I knew people were fucking fearful of him. Again, I was never locking in with him. But I had a story where he ran across some Spanish guy that I knew, an older head, big guy also, but not really a fighter. He wasn't about that shit like that, but he could hold his own. And I got word that they had a problem. And what happened was the guy I'm talking about, the boxer, he's a black guy. He was watching something on TV or something, and this other Spanish guy lowered the volume, something real minor, something light. The black guy told him not to fucking touch it again. He went and touched it again, and he fucking was all over him. This black guy beat the fuck out of this Spanish guy so bad. I mean, he had wires in his jaws for fucking 6 months. His whole fucking jaw was dislocated and broken in multiple places. Both his eye sockets were fractured and pushed in, completely fucked up, disfigured because of this shit. And this guy did this to him with his hands. So, like, another story I heard was when these fights happened with him, he was one of the only ones of the COs. They wouldn't run down on him and jump on him. They would come in and talk quietly, like, hey, bro, calm down, but you got to stop, and we got to take you to lockup. Like, real unheard of shit, because he'd fight with the cops, too. The guy had a serious drug problem, and the time that I actually encountered him was in lockup. So I'm in the lockdown unit. And apparently he was in the lockdown unit. He just got there. And when he had his first day out, where he had his hour out, he came to my cell and, got my attention. And he's like, yo, what's up, man? You're Hollywood. I heard about you. I heard you're cool people. You're good people. And this and that. He introduced himself. I was like, yeah, I heard some shit about you too. And then we started talking, and he was telling me how, because I asked him, I was like, so I heard you were a fighter, professional. He's like, yeah, it was crazy stories he was telling me about. He would be fucking high on PCP on these nationalized televised fights. He would literally be fucking high on PCP and angel dust and shit out of his mind and go in there and not feel any fucking pain and just go fucking nuts. So he had some issues, but he and I were okay. He showed me a lot of respect, and I had no reason to have a problem with him. I'm glad I didn't, because to me that sounds like the kind of motherfucker that you have to kill. The kind of motherfucker I always avoid having problems with. But in any case, he had this reputation. He was very, very feared. And about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I got word that he was found in Newark in a car burning. So he was found in a burning car with bullet holes all in his body. So apparently somebody fucking shot him, killed him, and lit the car on fire and left his ass there to burn. So it just goes to show, even the fucking baddest motherfuckers out there, no matter what, there's always somebody out there who could fucking get you. Anybody can get got, no matter what. And that's why the difference between he and I had status, I had power, I had juice, but I never fucking bullied nobody. I never shit on anybody. This guy is like, an example who I could think of is from the movie Friday, like Debo. That's who this guy was. This guy's fucking Debo, like taking shit from other people. And, when you act like that, I'm sure he was acting like that in the streets too. And that shit comes with a price. I did my fair share of dirt in the streets, and when I did it to certain people, I knew what it was. I was opening myself up to an invitation for retaliation at any time, years down the line, anytime. And likewise with him. You know, I don't know what it was that caused him to get murdered, but that shit caught up with him. So I thought you guys would be interested just because, you know, it's very uncommon that you come across somebody like that is feared across the board from everybody. So I thought I'd share this with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.